Hey everybody, welcome back to the Beyond the Dimensions YouTube channel. I'm Madison.
I'm Janelle.
And we're doing something a little different here. We're going to call this Beyond the Dimensions After Dark.
They're dark hours.
Who are we, you might ask? We're the people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We kind of make the whole Beyond the Dimensions run.
Yeah.
We are the ones who are running the dimensions, if you will.
We're the string pullers in the background. That sounds bad. Sounds like control.
But that's how it is.
That's how it is.
We want to talk about different topics.
Yeah.
We like talking about, whatever.
Yeah.
I remember our first conversation. We touched on almost every subject imaginable.
It was about 4 hours.
It was. I thought it was a hour and a half kind of sit down coffee thing.
I was thinking 30 minutes to an hour.
Turned into 5 hours basically. It was
never looked back.
The conversation was just really good. And so we want to kind of bring that to here in the video. So we thought we would start this Beyond the Dimensions After Dark. We'll be sprinkling in some of these episodes here and there. Today, I think we're going to talk about something that we're both passionate about, the ocean.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin the ocean?
When I think about the ocean, I always think about the pre-formation, right? So our cosmic origins, if you will, and the different minerals, chemicals, everything that went in to creating water, man. And then how it interacts with our body, how it gives back right now to us and the planet, right? And just even in our solar system, just the precious thing, that is this H2O.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's like you say, it's the world is made up of 75% of it.
yeah.
And
Your body too.
long before we had, the continents, before the formation after, what is it called? Pangea, right? The main landmass, right?
There was a few. 4 billion year history of our planet has been quite turbulent. So it's been through a lot of different periods, a lot of different collisions where it was, more of a fiery escape, if you will. And then water actually is, like we said, is introduced from a cosmic realm, right? There was these different particles, these different chemicals flying around the universe, and then it combines this fusion to create these different chemicals, these different elements. But the Pangea thing, I want to talk about it. A lot of people don't know.
A lot of people think it's fake, I think.
Oh, Pangea was...
No, I know, but a lot of people, I think... Well, there's a lot of different people out there, but
There's been 12 Pangeas.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The world...
Wasn't just one?
No, the world's formation, it's been, this world is so old, it's changed formation so many different times, but there's been, I think, I was actually looking into it last week, 7 to 12 different, conglomerate land masses. And Pangea is one of the last ones.
Wow. So, Pangea was the most recent one.
I'm not going to say it's the most recent.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but...
No, but, were the other ones called Pangea?
Mm-mm.
Okay. It was just okay.
They had, yeah. Well, then we don't even know if they had human records.
Yeah.
But scientists have different names for them. Something cool to look into.
That's interesting. And it's hard for me to think about is just one land mass, Think about if you're an animal, right? I don't know, woolly mammoth, something like that, where you don't see the ocean your entire life, but it's around you, right?
It's just like being North Dakota. It's different. North Dakota, see the water your whole life,
It is just like being in North Dakota.
Locked,
Landlocked, exactly. So then, and then imagine someone. It's just when the settlers went west too. They know what an ocean is, but when they found the Pacific Ocean, it's whoa.
Yeah.
Seeing something that, I think a cool thing about the ocean is say you're on a beach, right? You could look, and you don't know if it ends. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Imagine being an explorer who your king or your leader said, you're going to go out on the ocean and we want you to just find things. And with the prospects of maybe not coming home, you just keep sailing until you run into something. Like, that's kind of scary, man.
Scary, but I think that's the
exhilarating, maybe at the same
exhilarating, and I think that's in most people and all of us. It's like that, that curiosity or that will to like see what else is out there, and dude, that's the last frontier for us, honestly.
Well,
kind of.
Isn't space?
Oh, we've done more space exploration than we have ocean exploration.
Yeah, you're right. But what is it, Star Trek? They call space the final frontier.
Final frontier.
But I mean,
we got a frontier right here. It's old.
Yeah.
It's so old.
Thinking about space, like if I'm thinking about Star Trek, like we don't even have that kind of technology though. And I feel like
not yet.
Not yet. But in time, maybe that will become the final frontier. With the technology advancements, maybe we'll be able to seriously like inhabit the ocean.
I think we have
already. What if we have civilizations? Yeah.
I think we have already.
Yeah.
I think there's been hominoid species, if you will, that have already inhabited the ocean.
Are you talking about like mermaids and stuff or what?
Mermaids, some say sirens.
There's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes all the way back to Greek mythology.
Even predates it.
The siren song, sailors. It was Odysseus. Have you heard of Odysseus' travels?
Yeah.
The Odyssey, where Odysseus wanted to hear the siren song, right? Mm-hmm. But obviously it was so dangerous. Men would cast themselves into the water to be with the sirens, and so he told his crew, "I want you to tie me to the ship mast, right? And I want everyone else to put in wax in your ears, so like you can't hear it. And no matter what I say, if I tell you to untie me, do not, don't untie me." And because no one had lived to hear the siren song, and I think,
it's a similar story to
sailors. I mean, sailors even to this day, say things,
it's like
things. And
look at like a lot of Abrahamic religions. There's some, not necessarily in the Bible, but maybe books that were taken out the Bible. There's a lot of old stories. They don't particularly call them sirens, but it's about beings from the ocean that sort of had put people in the same trance. So I think that there is something, if there's enough people, there's enough cultural groups around the world at the same time and at different times that are, even I think about West African culture, like the Mami Wata. I know there's a spiritual context, but in some more research, you can find that there's like research regarding civilizations that lived in the water too, off the coast of West Africa. So there's just all these different stories about people groups living in the water, and according to science, right? If you believe in evolution, I'm not pushing anything on anybody, or taking anything away, but according to evolution, we essentially came out of the water. Right? We started off as beings that were living in the ocean. The world was mostly water, and then over time evolved to creep onto land and stand up straight. In the short version. So,
when you say like those African tribes living in the water, do you mean like they live kind of on the beach and make use of the water, or like legit living in the water?
Legit living in the water. Actually, I was just talking to a few students about it, and I had looked into it on my own because I heard about it, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but Mami Wata. I looked into it, and I was just looking up a lot of research about like these old, ancient beings. And in research, if you read any research about it, some context is more spiritual, right? Like it's like a ghost, and then some of it is like these are old, like beings from other cosmic places that came down to Earth and then inhabited the oceans. But then some African cultures say that these beings are actually ghosts and spirits, which, I mean, if you read the Bible or anything, inhabitants that you can't understand, you might call a ghost or
something you just don't know what it is.
Another dimensional
being. You just make up a story.
Yeah.
About what it is.
Same thing with Odyssey.
Yeah. Right. I mean, who knows what that was that they passed on through oral tradition and I mean, so many explanations of, like we've talked about this topic before about, back in those days they didn't have science to back anything up, so they turned to myth and made up stories about gods and goddesses and heroes and heroines, tackling these these enormous challenges. One, I think, to like enjoy a story like around a campfire, but also to explain what's going on around them. Like say a giant tsunami hits a coast. Who knows? They're like, man, Poseidon, he must be mad right now.
Yeah.
So we better burn some, not sacrifices, but burn some offerings to him so he'll.
Dude, call me crazy. I might be crazy. I might be, but I low key, actually high key, believe in those stories.
I do too.
I think that when we call things myths, there were unexplainable things as far as our human conscious really being able to like understand what's happening. But I actually think that there were extremely ancient old cultures that had interactions with these beings and these myths and these stories that showed us and taught us a lot of different things. And I think that over time we grew, we evolved to this point where we're at right now. We're making podcasts and stuff where we have these different distractions where we're not so pure and able to just see and interact with these interdimensional beings. But there's too many stories, man.
Here's a question I'll pose. How about so say way back in the day, these interdimensional beings, they interacted with the first man or whatever. Do you think they've had, and this is a larger conversation, do you think they've intervened in our, the biggest moments that have happened during the centuries? Like think about like the creation of fire, creation of wheel,
Yeah, I think that we had some. I think there were some divine and interdimensional interactions that helped us get to this point right now. I think that, dude, I even look at it in and it's probably gonna be crazy. I already know, whatever. I even think about like our DNA structure, right, and then like what's changed over the course of these millions of years. I know evolution is a thing, but I'm not gonna go too far, man. It's the first episode. I don't want to. I gotta come back.
Well,
with the research.
Yeah,
man, research for it.
We'll do some more like deep dives of topics. And
remember that
honestly, like if you guys want us to go into deep of a topic, something that would interest you guys, we'd love to do the research and kind of do a deep dive on something you guys are interested in. What did you gonna say?
I like the. Well, yeah. Let's remember that question. We will. I like the how everything intertwines with, because it could turn into a religious question, it could turn into a historical question, it could turn into our answer, or I should say, a scientific answer, and I like the combination of all those things. I think that when you speak of the Odyssey, there's so much history, right? Because that was the actual war that took place.
Right, the Trojan War, yeah.
Actual war that took place.
The Trojan War itself, I think. I don't know quite, but I think it was like, was it 20 years? I think it was between 15 and 20 years. A long war between Greece and Troy. And, I mean, a lot of the mainstay Greek myths and really the OG stories in Greek, Greek, that have been passed on come from just that. Whether it be Achilles, Achilles, the best warrior in Greece, and him being shot by an arrow in his heel, and so of course we still know the Achilles heel. From that, the Trojan horse, sneaking their entire army into Troy, thinking that Troy had won, and then they snuck their whole army in and kind of massacred all of them. So like all these things, people say, oh, well, that's my Achilles heel, or man, they really that was like the Trojan horse. They Trojan horsed them, and it's like, how have these things been, I mean, how many years, man? It's like everyone wants to like leave something behind in their life where people remember them for something. But imagine people knowing who you are thousands and thousands of years after your death.
That's why I think that there was some. I think there was some other involvement,
right?
Because what do we outside of myths? What do we remember outside of myths and war, and the combination of them? Like we remember advancements, right? But we don't remember we may not remember this conversation. But why? What is it about quote unquote myths and fairy tales that are passed down through generations and generations? Is it just the allure of it? But my personal take is a myth is something that was either used to like teach, right, like a parable, if you will, to sort of guide a people group. Like if you have this interaction or if you have this experience, this is what that means, and don't be confused by it. So those things really stick with the human race. I don't know. I just think about a lot of different spiritual and religious, cosmic, origins and context. Like it gets passed down for a reason.
Yeah.
It's I don't think it's a myth, dude. I think there might be some things that are fantasized.
Yeah.
But we know Troy stood.
Right. Yeah.
Right? We know these places, stood.
Right, because it's hard to believe that, like, I take, like, is it, like, Jason and Medusa?
Yeah.
That one may be a little far-fetched, but, like, I can still see the ruins of, the Parthenon. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's not like there's question to if those people were alive. Mm-hmm. You never know, if, a certain person was alive, but we know for sure that Greek civilization was a thing, I
wonder what fables will come out of American civilization.
I know, right? You know what I think?
I think they're going to say, I think Trump is going to be a war hero and a god. That's how we remember. Yo, that'd be crazy. You're going to cut that one out. Yo.
Okay, imagine saying this in 50 years. Not even 50, like 50 years, we're sitting and we're visiting our grandchildren, right? And they're like, Grandpa, I'm reading about this in the history book right now. And it's like, yeah, we're talking about the 2020s. Oh. It's like, oh, shit. It's like, and then they're like, yep, Trump. Mm-hmm. Trump is remembered. But then it's like, you'll ask them, do you know who Aretha Franklin is? They're like, who's that? It's like, oh.
Dude, I was just thinking about,
she's the queen of soul, man. Come on.
Man, I was just thinking, like,
God.
I was watching a movie, and it was based super in the future, right? Like 200 years in the future. But they were playing, like, oldies, right? So I was like, dang, like, some music may stand the test of time. Like, it may. Like, people.
Right.
I still listen to Nat King Cole.
Yeah.
My son listens to Nat King Cole.
What a guy.
Here's
a hot take. I mean, I enjoy Nat King Cole a little more than I do Frank Sinatra, I'll be honest. I think they both bring different things to the table, but Nat King Cole, man.
Who was the best out of the Rat Pack?
Oh,
best voice in the Rat Pack.
Oh, God. It's like, how do you not say Frank Sinatra? But, like,
Dean Martin was.
There were so many.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Bobby Darin. Somewhere Beyond the Sea. That's a good one. Gosh, that's a tough one.
I think some of that music, because it's real music. Like nowadays, even the frequencies in our music is different. Everything is so scattered. It's just like our instant gratification culture. It's meant to hit you hard for a second, make some money fast, and then you forget about it. But
I'll be honest, like I get a beat. Some beats are good, man.
Yeah.
But like. There's no lyrics. The lyrics don't really mean anything. Some of those songs, like Mac Miller has some really good, like, lyrics in those songs. But you think about, like, right, yep. And you think about that. And then I think about, like a Jim Croce. You know Jim Croce?
Oh.
You don't know Jim Croce?
Dude, I don't.
Operator. Oh, can you help me place this call? You've never heard that song?
I don't think I have.
Oh, dude. We might have to.
Don't worry about it, bro. It'll be heard today.
But yeah, and so it's like that song is one of the most depressing songs I think I've ever heard. And like, but I know I can follow the music. I can follow the story with the music. Mm-hmm. And I think it's harder these days to have a song kind of tell a story like that. I shouldn't say these days. I think it's a certain genre, maybe. It depends on your genre, because there's some outlaw country going on right now. A guy by the name of Coulter Wall who is doing some amazing stuff, dude.
Man, I think you're right to say these days.
Yeah, and I think I don't want to, name a genre, because every genre has its
Yeah.
like not good songs.
I think
But
you're
like
right,
I think these days in general, compared to everything like back in the day, compared to everything right now, I think back in the day was more of a storyteller kind of. Right now, I think you're just trying to be successful, right? Whatever makes you the most success, I think that's what you keep doing. Is that good? I don't know.
I think the game's saturated. I think the game
Oh, there's too many people doing it. Maybe.
saturated by money. I think when people, even when I think about my grandma's generation and why they did things, it was to, yes, succeed and provide for family, but it was to create like also meaningful memories with your family. And I think music then, dude, you could feel it. It's a vibration or a frequency. A sound wave is an actual weighted particle. You can feel that. So you can feel just what they meant. They meant what they said in their lyrics. I feel like you said it just a little bit earlier. Nowadays, it's like, what can I say to get the most hits on the gram, TikTok? More hits equal more dollars, equal more success, equal more of me being this image instead of me being myself. But you hear a lot of artists that still are themselves. We just don't get to hear it as much.
But they're already successful though.
Well, I think about like
how can
SoundCloud.
How can someone be original, but also like how do you break on the scene when you're not doing a successful thing?
What about like
isn't that a paradox?
Billie Eilish? I've kind of heard her sound before, but I hadn't really heard her sound before.
God,
it was kind of
sing, man.
Yeah, she can sing. She's sort of original too, sort of like
yeah, I'd say
dark. I like it.
I'd say she's even through her being like one of the most famous people in the world now, she's kind of kept her what makes her her.
Yeah.
And like now, like the new James Bond film, she got the original song to that, and that in its own right is like a nod that you're doing something right, because every time a James Bond song or movie comes out, they find an artist to do an original song for each song, for each movie. And so it's been like Adele.
Yeah.
Red Hot Chili Peppers did one. I think U2 did one. And so it's almost like a rite of passage. Yeah. It's like a tip of the cap. Like you've made it when you can write an original song for James Bond. But also it's like it's distinctly Billie Eilish.
Distinctly.
And man, like
it's haunting.
Like there are some, like we've been saying, there are some people who really keep it real, and I think she's one of them.
Yeah. And like Amy Winehouse too. She stayed. Oh my God, Amy stayed so true to herself, and she was famous. Famous in the eyes of her fans. Nowadays, I think her music is some of the most timeless I've ever listened to. From like a modern generation, modern era. Early 2000s, mid 2000s.
I'd also say this about John Mayer.
Yeah, John Mayer.
Do you know much about John Mayer?
Oh.
Sorry. He's my guy. Like anyone who knows me was probably like, "Oh man, Madison's bringing up John Mayer again," because I love the guy so much. But talk about a guy who's like totally reinvented himself like 4 times over. Like right away in his career, he was the guy. He was signed by Columbia Records. He was the really, pop star-y kind of guy. And after he was like, "I can't do this anymore," and then he's like, "I quit. I'm studying with B.B. King now. And I just want to play the blues." And then he went on to learn from the legend who was B.B. King, and learn from, Albert King too, and all the blues greats, Stevie, Jimmy, or like I remember Muddy Waters. Yeah, all of those guys. And then like he started his own blues trio with Pino Palladino and Steve Jordan. And it's just like, what is John up to now? And he's like, yeah, he's totally gone into the blues, man.
Yeah.
And then from there, to combine some of his pop with this blues he's learned, he's kind of reinvented himself as like just an original guy who just puts out freaking bangers. Dude, some of his songs just are freaking bangers. Some of his lyrics, I got to look up this lyric, okay? This lyric is from his. It's about breaking up with a girl, right? Still feel like your man, right? The prettiest girl in the room, she wants me. I know because she told me so. It keeps going on. I still feel like your man. I still keep your shampoo in my shower in case you want to wash your hair.
No one hit
And
you.
I
No
know
one hit you.
and I know you probably found yourself some more somewhere else. But I do not really care cuz as long as the shampoo is there, I still feel like your man. Yeah. Oh, that hurts, man. Ouch. And everyone's gone through like that that feeling of being broken up with.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Shampoo is the first thing I'm getting rid of. Body wash. I can't see it.
Right,
I gotta go.
Right,
I gotta
but
go.
like, think about that's the last thing he's holding on to.
That's real. I understand that because the shampoo, the body comes with all the memories, the scents.
Yep.
And you just got the bottle there.
Yeah.
The organic shampoo just staring at you in your face.
Just while you're in the shower, just trying to like get on with your day.
I'm just trying to go to work here.
And then you just glance at the shampoo.
Sometimes you just gotta kick it. Why is it still here?
Yeah.
That's the first thing to go.
But
shampoo, God, combs and stuff, easy. But
some of these people, like these artists who keep it real, I think are some of the most genuine.
Yeah. We went off of ocean.
I know.
Went off of ocean.
We kind of started in somewhere, and now we've hit almost every.
we've
Well, this is
about
an intro.
life.
This is an intro episode, so we kind of bounce around, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to call this oceans. I'm just going to call it.
You can call it oceans. You may as well call it oceans. That's actually dope, bro. And encompasses everything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We're essentially all in the ocean. Think about it.
We're in the
land masses. Sit inside of an ocean.
We're inside of the ocean.
Tectonic plates.
Yeah. Technically. Right. We're just here, man.
We're just here in the ocean. This might. I don't even know. I'm about to just keep playing around. Beyond the oceans.
Beyond the right.
This is beyond the dimensions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this is After Dark. Remember?
Yeah.
With Janelle and Madison. We keep it real.
Kids
have fun, that's fun, right? But you want to hear some crazy stuff? You listen to After Dark.
Let's talk about the boys.
You know what? Yeah, okay, good plan.
We got a great group of young pupils that have been doing the BTD Beyond the Dimension shows. Thank you for supporting them. We hope that they're gonna keep growing. Right?
Yeah.
And the biggest thing for them right now, and they know it too, is research the topics that they're speaking about. So I'm looking forward to in the next month, 2 years, 3 years, man, them just getting more like just really ingrained with different topics. And I can't wait to go back to like the first, second, third episode and then look at like the 30th, 40th, 50th, 200th and just see like, man,
how far we've come.
These dudes and ladies and gentlemen are like just wizards of speech and knowledgeable about what they're even speaking about. So,
yeah.
And they already are right now. Like the Beyond the Dimensions idea, they didn't say it. It came from the youth that are in the BTG program. So there was like 6 or 7 who were just having these extraordinary conversations. I mean, they were talking about spirituality, religion. They were talking about the origins of everything. And then they were like, yo, people are in the Matrix. This is where it all started. How do we get people out the Matrix? So we were just thinking like, dang, you guys are having some awesome conversations. It needs to get out there.
Yeah.
Get people your age. You guys can be the catalyst for getting people your age speaking about having these conversations. Especially they're all athletes. Athletes typically don't talk about it. We don't talk about basketball, whatever sport we do, boxing, football. We may talk about, anything else, what food we're going to get.
Yep.
But to hear a group of athletes speak about these, like I said, just extraordinary topics that you would hear in like a tenured college professor meeting or something, they wanted to have those. So
yeah, and so that's kind of how it was born, right?
Yeah. Well, we can't leave yourself out either.
Oh, jeez.
You can't leave. Mad Dog Madison. Does anybody ever call you that?
That was my nickname growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
It's almost too easy.
Yeah, it's either when I was growing up more it was Mad Dog, and then it was in high school it was like Maddie, and now it's kind of floating back to Mad Dog, I think.
Were you ever a Mad Dog? Like, were you ever angry kid?
No, I was a man of peace.
So Mad Dog is just like
I know, right?
it sounds good, but
It sounds good, but doesn't match. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, but yeah, I was never really mad at all.
No.
No. Calm Dog, is that what you want?
No. Calm Dog Madison. There's no point anymore. There's actually no point. Madison is also leaving himself out of the situation. We had a great meeting about another video to do, and I forgot how the podcast got brought up, but
well, we were working on another video, trying to help out BTG. Then you said, well, these guys kind of want to have an idea for a podcast, and I'm kind of working the kind of realm of podcasts and radio and stuff. So I'm like, well, if you ever need, help starting it up, like I got you. I know it's a lot of kind of an intricate process if you really don't know how to do it. And so I could help you out. It's pretty easy. And so then they're like, yeah, we're seriously talking about this. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, all right, then main thing like that I've told the boys over and over is like, you just got to create.
Yeah.
I know it started off, those first couple of episodes, like you said, even with our studio, like the first couple of episodes, until now, like we look pretty professional now.
Pretty professional.
And so that's the same thing with the content. Like it's going to start off a little rough, but once the boys are starting to find their groove and we're starting, to make it look really professional, like, yeah, we're excited about what's happening.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting part is that, there are some people here that, in high school, for me, it was kind of just like day to day, going to school, going to practice, going home.
Yeah.
I didn't really have another passion outside of, other than doing something for school, whether it be, music or, sports or whatever. And finding something like this that the boys are interested in stuff are in. And I was telling my family at like Christmas time about BTG and the guys. And there's just isn't a avenue for kids to start like this. There's not an avenue to have grown-up conversations like this. Like I told my family, like, they're like, so what are the episodes about? And so I was like, well, the first one we recorded was about basketball. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, then we kind of jumped into gender perspectives somehow.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm glad there's a forum here to talk about, because when do kids get to talk about those kind of things? I don't think they ever do, And that's why it's like, it's nice to have a forum like this to talk about those things and not, go through life not kind of informed.
Yeah.
And I know, like, when you get to college, that's kind of when you learn about other people even more to a bigger degree. But, like, why can't we learn about people as fast as possible?
That's the real advancement, I think. That's why I'm really thankful for you. You know this. You already know this. And thankful for, like, the group of youth that stepped up and were even brave enough to have these conversations that could be taboo or that I know a lot of them may not speak about in the home. So it's just that advancements, man. You spoke about college, like the conversations that they're having, they're gonna have, after a college class when they have to do a project with a group of students, they're gonna have to input. So to be advanced, to have these conversations right now, to even invite other perspective, other guests, and just get used to doing that. That's what it's all about. I think that's how the next generation, this intuitive generation, this is how they do better than us. Because in high school, I maybe had one or two people.
You couldn't catch me doing something like this. Like, I mean, I don't even think I wasn't even listening to podcasts in high school.
Dude, no.
And now it's just what I do daily almost.
Yeah.
So to have the kids have a avenue like this, So
support, please
subscribe, and subscribe.
And
turn on that bell for notifications too.
and leave comments.
Yeah, we've been
wanna
getting
know.
some pretty good comments recently.
We want questions. We want feedback. If somebody says something that that doesn't jive with you, or if you want to add more into a particular topic, leave it in the comments. Maybe come over here and give your piece.
No, like this
know.
is an open if
open
you want to
forum.
come on.
Let us know.
Talk to these guys.
Leave it in the comment section. Hey, I want to come on and speak about that.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Definitely.
Let's do it. We want after dark, after dark, gotta be the adults, but for the BTD with the young bulls, if you're in high school, middle school, leave it. If you see Lang, Melvin, Ali, Ethan, whoever else is on there doing the podcast, leave a comment and say, "Yo, this is what I think about that."
Mm-hmm.
Can I come on and say my spiel? Especially high schoolers. This is your chance to speak, get your message, get your voice out there to the world.
We've already had a lot of a lot of the boys. Kind of the main thing is basketball. A lot of This could be a forum for. Heck, EDC is coming up here soon.
Yeah.
What if we get some guys who played in EDC and they do a recap of
Yo, so
like, hey man, I just dunked on Melvin.
Yo, like
which probably isn't that hard, honestly.
A season recap before the playoffs,
dude.
Season recap. You know what? We're gonna put this out there. Tell you what, we've talked about this before. EDC playoffs are coming up. It should be this year, from what I see, the playing field seems a little bit more equal. Maybe sorta. Got some good teams. Got some good players. Got some good coaches. Some good staffs.
Are you willing to make a prediction right now?
Who's gonna win EDC? Oh, I'm gonna be. I like Davy's system. I like the consistency. I really like watching their off-ball movement. And one thing I like about that school and team is like the methods. It's tried and true, and it's there. You know what I'm saying? It's good basketball to watch. Talent this year, I think, they had some, I think maybe more size last year, but they moved that ball well. I'll say all that to say,
who's gonna give them some guff though?
Dude, I low key got, man, I'm gonna piss off a lot of people with this. I'm gonna piss off.
They can comment. They can comment. Whatever.
I got Davies.
You got Davies.
I got Davies.
Okay. Janelle.
Sorry, not sorry. I said North in the beginning of the year. I was even giving South some love. I was looking at Red River. But man, when I watch Davies play, they're consistent. And they may have an all-shooting night, but them dudes are going to play defense.
Can you say they do the hard things easy?
They play defense.
I don't know much about basketball, so I'm trying to put some very general sports lingo in here.
They play D.
Okay.
They play defense. From what they have their lapses here and there. It's a team sport. It happens. But, hell, they play defense. And I think that's what transcends going into the playoffs. If you have a defensive-minded team, maybe you don't have the size. Sometimes you can get out-rebounded or get bullied a little bit if they got a post player. But if you guard, you commit to guarding, you commit to moving that ball and shooting, they're tough. They're a tough out. North's a tough out. They have a very skilled player. Obviously, both the Sims. Big shout out to Welcome. They got some size too out there at North, but. Dude, I don't know.
Okay.
I just got Davies.
Who do you have your eyes on?
For a player?
Yeah.
Like most intriguing player to watch? Yeah, I'm oh man. All right.
You could
Don't do me like this, Madison.
It doesn't have to be one player. Like I saw Mason, is it Clabo? Claybo play last week, and it was pretty freaking
He's a dog.
It was awesome.
He's a dog.
It was good to watch. I haven't seen anyone else really. I mean, not that I just haven't gone. Not that like they haven't impressed me, but I'm hoping to hit up a couple high schools coming up here to before EDC, get some shots, get some video of these guys.
That'd be freaking dope, bro.
So
Claybo is one of my favorites to watch because he just applies pressure and he guards. He does play. He plays D. I like that. I like from the same team. I like Ray. I like Dan. Those boys play too. That's why I like Davies, man. They got
Seems
dogs.
like Davies is the
alpha. They got dogs on their team.
Seems like Davies is the team to beat here.
But my favorite, most aesthetically pleasing player to watch in EDC is by far Jeremiah Sims. By far.
Showtime Jerry.
I mean, I hear
it was him who got his 1,000 point.
That was Claybo.
Oh, that was Claybo. That's right.
That was Claybo.
Didn't Jerry had a little like some sort of? Let me look it up. I think it was on his Instagram, wasn't it? Or maybe it was Claybo.
I'm not sure, man. But Jeremiah Sims,
dude, Jerry, this guy can fly, man.
Can fly. His game is so smooth. It's so smooth. If he's gonna see this, I'm not sure. If any of his coaches see this, I'm pretty sure they already know. My only critique of him is with his natural gifts, he could be a lockdown defender for real. So I wish he would buy into locking down, like clamping everybody who is in front of you, even if you're help side, make your presence known on defense, because I think he'll get Division I looks. He probably already has them. But when people go to college, they have to understand your role. Everybody not dropping 20, 30 a game. Your role is to guard. Guard first, defense first. And then if you're, an extraordinary player, you put in that work, then you might drop 17, 20. I seen a few players last night, dropped a 37 ball, 30 ball, which is uncommon in college basketball. But I just be like, if this dude clamped, like just really, really clamped, he would be hands down number one in the state. But skill set, offensive skill set, feel for the game, man, his touch, his ball control, his body movement, everything on the offensive end is just beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. I don't care about how many shots he puts up. I know that's a critique of his. Just from a fan, it's pleasing to watch. Very pleasing.
Yeah, wouldn't that'd be something to have these guys on after EDC?
Oh, you know what?
Let's make that happen.
Let's get them on here before.
Oh, a little build up.
A little build up. Why not do a build up?
You know what? How about we reach out to them?
Yeah.
Say, come on the pod.
Come on the pod.
Who's gonna host this? Melvin. Melvin and
I don't know. I don't know if. So we've talked about it, and players that are currently playing don't want to host it. Not for any bad reason. It's just they're all competing right now.
Why don't you host it then?
I got some questions for those guys.
You're kind of like a good in between kind of. You're gonna grill every guy. You're not gonna go soft on any guy. I think it'd be a good like little round table of.
Yeah.
I
want to get. I'm always interested in player mindset. What's your focus like? How do you sort of de-escalate, those? Or how do you handle those emotions pre-game going into the playoffs? What are you doing to really like benefit yourself and your team? That's what I want to know, and then I want to know the human part of it.
Right.
Are you?
Because they're not just machines.
No, you're not just machines.
Yeah.
So, but I am a competitor, so I want to know who's gonna cook. I want to hear you say, "I am so and so," and
no one can guard me.
No one's guarding me. I'm guarding everybody, and our team is gonna win. That's what I want to hear, and I want to hear how you're gonna back it up.
TV stations don't have that, do they? Oh my!
And it gets high school players ready too for when they do go to college. When they do go pros, you're interview ready. You've done it before.
Think about where the landscape is heading. Like the more experience you have, especially podcasts seem to be the thing now, and probably for the future. Like to get this experience in high school, I think would definitely help those guys out too.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make it happen.
Make it happen.
That's gonna be fire.
Get the prospects on here. Yeah. See what they got to say. See how they feel about the EDC. So
that's gonna be a fire pod right there.
Yeah.
So
let's do it.
You don't want to miss it, so you're gonna want to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Once you ring that bell, then you don't have to do anything.
No.
It'll just be bing, 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 bing.
Yep.
EDC podcast.
Yeah.
EDC podcast where someone says something crazy. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows what will be said?
You're not going to want to miss that, though.
No. No.
That is like, you must tune into that. So
Those top 3. You might have to get Connor on here. I like watching that kid too. Been tripping lately though. Watching him a little bit.
I might expose Lang right now.
Oh no.
I went to go shoot some video of him.
Madison don't do it like
for
that.
some Instagram.
Oh
and,
man.
You know, he played real well out there, except for, you know, none of his baskets went in the hoop.
None of his shots fail.
So
It's a make or miss league.
maybe next time. Next time. So, but then Alpha dunked, so the trip was worth it.
Who have you seen? That's like, I know you said you had.
I mean, I've been to like 2 games, but watching Davies was something.
See?
And they were playing Devil's Lake, which is like, you know, not the best competition, but the way they just, and I watched JV first, but the way they just basically control the game.
Yeah.
You know, they don't let you get momentum. You know, even like a basic thing would be like to try to get a little momentum. They don't even let you get that. You know, you can't do anything, and you can't drive the basket. Oh,
The only way you can beat Davies is by shooting.
right. And not a lot of teams, you know, have that, you know, that in their arsenal, you know. So yeah, they've really impressed me.
Shooting, or you got to have a big that is just, I mean, Shaquille-esque.
I remember in high school, like we had a lot of those guys. What do you call them? Where they just sit underneath the hoop and you just feed them the ball.
Traditional centers.
And, you know, you don't really see that anymore. I haven't seen something like that in high school. You know, at least now. Well, maybe there's a couple, but
They have, you know, that dominant big that they would just throw the ball to, turn. And I haven't seen that. There is a player. Crap, I think he played for Red River. I forgot the name of their center. He's a monster, though. There's another dude at Moorhead. He's not an EDC, though. But he's also, you know, sort of like that. He's just a monster. He can shoot. But the game has developed to such a point where everybody, no matter what your size, has those skills, like particular the basketball skills: dribble, shoot, pass, drive. I mean, that's what's supposed to happen. That's why music has been interesting to me, because music was so good back then, right? When things go on with time, they're supposed to get better. Basketball has gotten better. People have gotten more skilled. Can we say that about music? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a tough critic.
maybe that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. No. I've just been hearing trash lately.
Yeah.
Like pure trash.
The thing is, like, I don't hear the trash because all I'm doing is listening to the oldies.
Dude, you ever just let something play?
Yeah.
Like let the algorithm work on YouTube or something like that?
Yeah.
And it's just
Fire. Yeah, dude. So I think that does it for this first episode.
After
Watch
dark.
out for that EDC podcast. We're going to make sure that everyone sees that.
Yeah, that's going to be.
So
Absolutely.
next time, who knows what we'll talk about next time. Pretty much we touched on everything ever.
It's a great intro.
This was a good intro.
Great intro if you ask me.
So
You guys got a good idea about what we're about over here. Behind the scenes, guys.
yeah, that's
The
us.
old heads.
Madison and Janelle, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, listening. As always, like, follow, share, all that fun stuff.
Think beyond.
We'll see you next time.